So now I'm going to move on to the Delphi murders. Now I have some, let's have a look at these girls. So this is a case, of course, that we've been following quite a lot in the recently. We've been talking about the trials been going on, hasn't it? Poor Libby and Abby, the two young girls, young teenage girls, went for a hike on a local trail in Delphi in Indiana in the United States, and allegedly bumped into this guy, Richard Allen. A lot of people though think no, he's not guilty. So the trial's been ongoing for the past 3 weeks. And I just wanted to let you know that the defense has rested. But when I say the defense has rested, it was a complete surprise, because the defense came out, the courtroom came out again yesterday, and we're expecting more evidence from the defense, and the defense rested its case. So whether the defense just felt that they'd already done enough to defend him, or they thought they should quit while they're ahead. You know, what I don't like about Richard Allen, and what really convinces me that he's most likely is guilty, is his chameleon-like appearance. You know, the way he's changed his appearance. This is how he is now, but this is what he was like when he was first arrested. So this is a case that happened quite a long time ago, 2017. It's only just come. The only reason that Richard Allen has been brought to trial is that a volunteer police receptionist found a tip, if you like, just by accident. And they went back and investigated Richard Allen again. And anyway, they thought they had enough to make a case. And, you know, a lot of people have complained about the trial, saying, you know, that Richard Allen has been, used as a scapegoat, that there's not enough evidence against him because there's no DNA, no fingerprints. But there is a bullet from his gun that was found underneath one of the girls, or nearby to one of the girls, who were found with their throats slit. I mean, this was a brutal murder. So the thought that that whoever did it is not going to be brought to justice, be it Richard or anybody else, is awful. But, you know, it's a bit like if Richard Allen is found not guilty, if the jury come back with a verdict of not guilty, there's not really anybody else in the frame, because the other person that was in the frame, he has died. We did a video on him the other day, Ron. He died of COVID a couple of years ago. So if it's, and I don't think it was him. You know, because he was investigated, his devices were taken, he was never charged, you know. So although some people are saying, oh, well, the FBI suspected him, which it seems like they did in the first instance, but there's the Chihuahua. There's no evidence. Sorry, I'm going to just have to put the dog. Are you going in the bathroom? There's no evidence to suggest, because he wasn't arrested while he was alive for 4 years, and he was actually in prison for some traffic offences, but he was never held to account for these murders. So I'm sure, you know, well, unless they just didn't have enough evidence against him, you know. So we'll see. I mean, I think from what we've seen, I think people are probably pretty split about whether Richard Allen is guilty or not. You know, a lot of the defence's argument lies on his mental health argument, because although he confessed 62 times to various people, not just, and not under duress. They weren't forced confessions. He confessed voluntarily to his wife, to his mother, to his psychiatrist, to the prison guards. Over 60 times he confessed in very calm manner. And the jury got to hear that actual audio of him confessing, which we haven't got to hear. So the jury will have to decide if they think they were genuine confessions or not. And if those, combined with the bullet that was there at the scene, combined with the video that Libby took on the bridge of this guy, which is, you know, a lot of people think is Richard Allen. So the jury have got to decide that, haven't they? Is the combination of all those factors, and the fact he admitted he was on the bridge at the time, he admitted he was wearing those clothes. You know, if it wasn't him, who was it? Someone looks just like him, dressed identically. You know, so we don't know. And we don't know the extra things that the jury has been able to see that we haven't been able to see or listen to. We don't know about them. So it just depends what it's the jury that, you know, it's not up to us now to decide. It's up to the jury to decide. They're the ones that have been presented with the evidence that both the prosecution and defence felt that was pertinent. We've had one person for the speaking for the prosecution saying they don't believe he was having psychosis, and then we've had an expert from the defence saying yes, he was definitely under psychosis, and that's why he confessed. So, you know, the jury have got to sort that out and decide what's true, you know, which is true. Was he suffering from psychosis when he confessed 62 times? Or, like the prosecution expert says, was he not under psychosis? And so we should take those confessions seriously. You know, I don't envy the jury, to be honest, because it's, you know, they're talking about, I mean, he's going to, if he's found guilty, that's life imprisonment, isn't it? So, you know, it's not a small offence, and it carries a weighty sentence, and the jury are responsible really for Richard Allen's future now. So that's quite, you know, quite scary, isn't it? So hi Darren, hi Nightbot. Nightbot's become a regular member of the chat now. So yeah, I didn't say my thank yous actually at the start of the video, but thank you everybody for subscribing. Please don't forget to leave your DNA on the like button. As Nightbot says, remember to subscribe to this channel, please. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, and on TikTok and Instagram. Actually, I need to sort those links out properly. And if you want to support my channel, of course, you can always buy me a Ko-fi here on Ko-fi, which is in the chat there, the link. Or special thank you to everybody who is a member already, and also to people who have gifted memberships. Thank you so much. But why not consider becoming a member? So we do one live member stream every Monday night for Carry On Chatting level. And for Let's Chat, we do a live stream every fortnight. So next Thursday will be the next Let's Chat live, exclusive live stream to members. So thank you, Nightbot, for letting us know about those. Yeah, David, I agree. You know, when you confess to a crime, who would confess to that? And he, you know, his wife kept saying to him, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And he kept saying, yes, I did. I did. You know, he insisted that he had, same when he spoke to his mother. So I think that's part of the more damning evidence against him. So the defense has been at pains to prove that he only confessed because he was suffering from psychosis. So he was acting like a nutcase, wasn't he, in his cell? He was eating his own feces, apparently. But not in the beginning, though. So what the for the closing arguments, the prosecution brought in someone to say that actually at the time that he made these confessions, he was not suffering from or any signs of psychosis, that those actions that he did, like of you know, eating his own feces, etc. They were actually actions from after he confessed. When he confessed, he was very calm. And I think that probably the jury will have heard that when they were played the audio of the confessions. So, as I say, it's the jury that has to decide. High musical. Well, we can't dismiss anything, can we? Because we don't know, because we haven't been au fait with everything that happened in the trial. There was things that the jury got to listen to or got to look at. The public weren't, because it was decided that this would not be a public trial. The judge decided that right at the beginning. So we don't know. The jury have got all the information. We don't have all the information. So we'll see. I think there'll be a verdict maybe later today. Do you think it looks good for Richard for it to go longer? Probably does, doesn't it? The longer it goes without a verdict, does that look good for Richard? Is that because people are talking about it, or do you think the longer it goes without a verdict, you know, waiting for the verdict, is that look bad for Richard? So, you know, at the end of the day, one verdict, one way or another, is going to, unless it's a hung jury, and then it all has to be gone through again, of course. And apparently, you know, the crime scene photos, the photos of Libby and Abby are circulating around the internet, which is very sad, I think. Confessions usually end up a guilty verdict. Yeah, I think that's true, musical, because if there's evidence to back it up, I mean, I think obviously if someone confesses, there's nutters confess to crimes daily, don't they? Especially high profile crimes. The police have to sort out so many false confessions. You know, people will phone up tip lines and say, oh yeah, I murdered, you know, I kidnapped Madeleine McCann or whatever. You know, it's amazing what people do. So but this is, I think, an important thing, because normally the confession comes first and then the police investigate it. And if they can't find any evidence to support that confession, then they realise it's just a bogus confession and it's thrown out. But having said that, that isn't what's happened with Richard, is it? Because he said, apparently when he was arrested, he said, oh, it's over. You know, it was like everything he said, and then the police started investigating into it more, and they have found corroborating evidence. So it's a mixture. It's a mixture. It's not that he phoned up the police out of the blue and confessed to these murders, and then the police investigated into it and they couldn't find any corroboration of what he was saying. It's the opposite, really. They thought he'd done it. They've arrested him. He's confessed to it. So that's different from sort of mad confessors, isn't it? Or that the police have to deal with every day. This guy has confessed to it after having been arrested because of the video, Libby's video, the fact he was there at the time, the fact he was wearing the, you know, to me, he's definitely a bridge guy, but then some people disagree with that. So, you know, maybe the jury will be like that. You know, imagine in the jury, you've got 12 people, and I think at least the judge might accept a 12-10 verdict. I think they can do that. Maybe they can't do that in a murder charge, I'm not sure, but in some cases the judge can say, right, I will accept 10-2 verdict. I don't know if they can do that in a case as serious as this. But will the jurors be sat there, and will there be sort of half of them saying, no, I don't think he did it, and half of them saying he did, you know? So you'd like to be a fly on the wall, wouldn't you, in that jury deliberation room and see. And yeah, you're right, musical. The jury have asked very smart questions. They've asked a lot of questions. They may still ask some more questions. They've asked for photos of Richard Allen when at the time he was arrested, you know, rather than what he looks like now. Because, of course, going back to this chameleon, like the way he's changed, you know, he looked like that once, Now he looks like this. So he just looks like this. And in some point in the middle, he looked like that with the beard and everything. You know, he's changed his appearance so many times. But as you know what I say, I think what all these, like the photo fit, both the photo fits have got in common. Look at his fat cheeks. You know, he's got fat cheeks in all these photos, except when he lost all that weight. So in my opinion, I think he's probably guilty, but, you know, doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what the jury thinks. So we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, David. So all those things combined, they may not have any DNA. Honestly, it does make me laugh when everyone's gone on about DNA, because I know DNA is important if it's there, but there was nobody's DNA. So somebody killed them. So where's the DNA of the person who did kill them then? I still think he washed them in the creek, washed his DNA away. Maybe he was wearing gloves, who knows? But nobody's DNA was found. So it's not that, you know, the people making a thing about DNA, and of course DNA is brilliant if you can get it, but people have been convicted of murder before we had DNA. You know, we never used to have DNA, but people still got convicted. So in my opinion, it's silly to just say, oh, because there's no DNA. That's a modern thing, isn't it? Oh, no DNA, it can't be them. But of course it can, because some people are DNA aware. And, you know, where is the DNA from the murderer, whoever the murderer is? So that's the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, let me take the girl's picture. I just want justice for, you know, imagine the family. And, you know, we don't want somebody who's not guilty to be found guilty for nothing. But, you know, they want justice. They want somebody to be held accountable for the deaths of their